guys, it's Jennifer and welcome back to my Flagstaff home. I'm here today to talk about what you do when you're making pine needle baskets and you end up with thread tangles. Now, if you're watching this video and you haven't learned how to make a pine needle basket yet, I have two other videos that are tutorials, step-by-step tutorials that will show you how to make a beautiful pine needle basket from beginning to end. I'll link one of those right now, and I'll also link both of my tutorials at the end of this video. But what do you do when you end up with thread tangles? So I've got a couple of strategies for you and one thing to share with you if all else fails. So here's the thing. When you are pulling the thread through each of your stitches, you'll often notice that the thread will bunch up on the back of your basket. And so it's important not to try to tug that thread all the way through and just sort of like pull the tangle out, because that is actually going to do the exact opposite of what you want. So make sure when you're pulling the thread through that you're kind of pulling it through carefully, not too fast, sort of pay attention to what's happening on the back of your basket. But if it does tangle up, and every time I work on a basket, my thread tangles multiple times. So the first thing you want to do is, as soon as you see or feel that there is a tangle, then just stop what you're doing and then pull the thread out away from the, kind of pull it back a little bit, and then gently just shake it out. Just shake out the thread. When you do that, it will often loosen up the thread and no other tangles or knots are going to form. Now, there is another kind of tangle that I end up with a lot, and that is where there's sort of a loop and it looks like there's a knot at the end of the loop. Well, there is an easy way to take care of this. All you do, once again, kind of back the thread out a little bit, stick your finger through the loop, and then take those threads at the bottom. Sometimes it'll just be, if you're lucky, it'll just be 2 threads. Sometimes the end gets stuck in there and you'll see 3 threads in there. Take those, your finger is in the loop, you hold on to those threads at the bottom and just kind of tug them downward a little bit. You don't have to pull super hard, just tug downward. You're sort of changing the direction of those threads. Then find the 2 threads that are attached to that loop, and you can pull them and the loop will start to get smaller, and then you'll either feel or sometimes even hear a little bit of a pop, and that's when the loop comes out, and then you will have no more tangle and certainly not a knot. So sometimes though, you'll end up with something that you just can't get out. This happens to me not very often, but it has happened on occasion. And in that case, you have to just cut out the knot. Yeah. So anyway, you'll just cut on either side of the knot to get rid of it. And if you have enough thread left, then you're in good shape. If you don't, because you have to have about probably about 3 inches. If you don't have enough, about 3 inches of thread, you need to start unstitching some of your previous stitches so that you have about 3 inches. And then what you do is just what you would normally do when you're replacing your thread. You know, you're using your thread and you start to run out and you have to put in a new piece. If you watch my instructional video, I show very specifically how to replace your thread with a new piece. And then it won't show, there won't be any evidence that you had a knot that had to be cut out. It's just like the regular process of replacing a thread. I hope you'll watch some of my other videos about basket making. I will link some of those for you right here. Take care, you guys, and I hope I'll see you again on my Flagstaff home. Bye-bye.